Hello, everyone, and welcome on a conference dedicated to XTPL 2025 financial results. My name is Mardoniusz Maćkowiak, and I represent CC Group, an investor relations advisor. Together with me, we have XTPL Management Board, Mr. Filip Granek, Chief Executive Officer, and Mr. Jacek Olszański, Chief Financial Officer. Our meeting will be divided into two parts, an investor presentation and a Q&A session. I would like to encourage you to ask your questions via the chat system. That's all from my side for now. I will get back to you on a Q&A session. Mr. Filip Granek, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mardoniusz. Welcome, everyone. I'm Filip Granek.
I'm Jacek Olszański. Hello.
It's a pleasure for us to walk you through our annual report for the year 2025. So the structure of our presentation is starting with focus on the highlights of the last year with executive summary, short reminder about XTPL activities. Then I will give you a deeper context about current business development activities. Jacek will walk you through the financials, and then we'll be ready to take your questions. The key highlights of the last year are, first of all, the first ever industrial implementation of our technology, the shift from lab to fab, and the point for the first time where our technology is part of a real production line, and that is happening in China at the factory of the leading flat panel display manufacturer on the Chinese market. We are also growing growing pipeline of the advanced projects in our industrialization pipeline, and in part of that, we're also delivered the second UPD module to our NASDAQ 100 customer from US. We delivered our Delta printing systems to interesting new customers. Some of them are in academia, but also inside of the defense industry. And we have a first sale of DPS to a defense contractor in US, but we also delivered DPS to a R&D facility of University of Massachusetts at Lowell, where there is a special facility fully financed by Raytheon company. We also announced earlier this year the first purchase order that we accepted for our new product, which is Odra system, and we will deliver it in the second half of the year to the advanced packaging customer from California in Silicon Valley in US. We have also adopted a modified strategy for the next 2 years, and we adopted the strategy and postponed the reaching of our strategic goal of 100 million Polish zlotys. This is due to our experiences from the first industrial implementations, which we see that it's taking longer than we initially anticipated. It moves well, it progresses well, but it's just a slower process than our initial assumptions. That's why we had to adjust our strategy. And as a result of adjusted strategy, we have identified a additional financial needs that has been secured by both grant and new investors capital increase that we just closed last quarter.
The key figures for 2025 include 15.6 million total revenue, of which 13.7 million in sales revenue was generated through the sale of 13 DPS devices and 8 industrial modules. Please also note that we secured our operating activities by obtaining financing totaling nearly 30 million zloty. The cash from issuing we have on our bank account. The cash from grant 10 million zloty we will use in the next 3 years.
So XTPL, we developed a disruptive technology for high precision printing. Last year, we started the first industrialization and going live on the production floor in the flat panel display industry with the project that is now ongoing. At the same time, we're growing a portfolio of projects for the next industrial implementations. And since this year, we also introduced a new product to the market, which is our standalone system, ODRA, for high mix, low volume manufacturing. All of that is happening around a growing market for microelectronics, advanced electronics, and we're executing our activities inside of a well-defined strategy that will lead us to scalable revenue growth by the year 2028 with 100 million Polish zloty as a key target for revenue. The technology itself that we developed is a combination of bringing disruption in precision, printing very high resolution structures with a high level of ink viscosities. And the unique combination of bringing precision and high level of ink viscosity to the market is actually something that is not available yet on the market. We're really innovators on the global scale in that domain. And the technology, you can imagine the technology as a very high resolution dispensing needle that is writing structures in flat structures, but also three-dimensional structures at the very high resolution. All of that is happening in the context of the key drivers that we see on the global markets. One is ever increasing pressure for miniaturization around microelectronics. And the second is to move electronics into more flexible, three-dimensional, closer to body shapes. And this requires new methods of making electronics, producing electronics, but also a growing concern or a growing focus around material efficiency, sustainability, and the green manufacturing. So additive technologies, printing technologies like our technology are actually very well fitting into the green manufacturing domain. And as mentioned before, the markets for high-end electronics, printed electronics, flexible electronics, these are the markets at the dynamic development currently, with different market researchers showing over 20% of CAGR that is expected for the next years. We start in Poland, we develop our technology in Poland, but from day one, we think about global markets, global competition, and we're getting our solutions, our products to the customers now in Western Europe, in US and Northern America, and in selected Asian countries. So already delivered products and services to over 20 countries historically. And that's our strategy from day one, go global with the technology that we developed here in-house. How we approach our customers, we have our own sales team. We work with distributors in selected countries. We have our first office in US, which is our demo center that supports our collaborations with North American customers. And we're also engaging in strategic partnerships with partners, mostly in Asia. And I will walk you through first of such strategic partnerships with a company, Mans Asia, which we are all very proud of. Now diving into our current deep business development activities. I want to highlight the 4 business lines, and I will walk you through the business lines in the next slides. So you know we are delivering UPD modules as a component to a bigger machines for consumer electronics manufacturing, mostly in Asian countries. We have our Delta printing system for mostly academic and R&D users, not designed for production. And then the new product is ODRA system for high mix, low volume manufacturing. Whenever a customer is not interested in thousands, hundreds of thousands or millions of products per year, but rather thousands or hundreds of products each year with changing demand for design. And to our equipment, we also supply inks, metallic inks, and many customers choose to work with our inks when selecting our products for printing. The first business line focus on our industrialization efforts, activities where our goal is to get into the production line and sell multiple UPD modules to enable high volume manufacturing of a given product. So this is the first project that last year went into industrialization phase. We delivered 6 UPD modules to our partners in China. They are already now part of the production line, and we know that for the first time ever we can state that there are flat panel displays for smartphones, OLED displays, that are being manufactured with the help of XTPL technology. We're playing still a kind of a niche role, which is a defect repair, so helping to increase the production yield of this high-end product. But it's a really important test bed and validation of our technology in real-world industrial environment. We're currently ongoing negotiations with our partner about the next batch of modules that we expect to be ordered within the next weeks, I would say, and we will start to deliver them still this year. So they will also support our revenue growth for this year. We also want to highlight that the end customer, so the flat panel display manufacturer in this particular project, when they got insights into our technology for the defect repair application, they also got interested in exploring how our technology can help them in new flat panel display architectures that are going beyond repairing defects. So our customer is now engaging with us with 2 additional evaluation projects at a much earlier stage of industrialization. But we're really happy about this strategy of putting a foot into the door of big industrial customers with one project, and then it can grow the collaborations into other projects. And this is actually what is happening here already with our first industrial customers. So that's something we're excited about, and it shows potential for the future. We're not just focused on one project with one customer that is at the industrialization phase right now. We're actively working on multiple advanced projects, and we're growing the pipeline. And now we have in the stages 4 and 5, so the most advanced stages in our industrialization stages is in total 6 projects, one being already in the go live level of industrialization level, and the 5 are on the advanced prototype stage. We also have projects at the earlier stage. We're not commenting a lot about these developments in our investor relations because they are, as I said, at the earlier stage, but there is action there. There are customer engagements, and we expect that the pipeline will be moving not just from the stage 4 to stage 5, but also at the earlier stages to higher stages as the company moves forward. In terms of the 5 most advanced projects on stage 4, I want to highlight the fact that they are diversified geographically and in the business verticals. So you see partners in China, South Korea, USA, Taiwan, and Eastern Europe, and partners in verticals of flat panel displays, semiconductors, and in automotive applications and consumer electronics. So there is a certain diversification. They are not all the same type of projects in terms of application, and they are not conflicting with each other. So it's not like success of one project will close the doors to another project. They are all complementary. And our goal for this year would be to have one of these projects, at least one of these projects, to also get to the stage 5 and start being present on the production floors. Delta printing system, already 46 units in total delivered. Last year we delivered 13 systems to our customers. It's an important revenue generator for us at this stage of commercialization, but this is not the revenue generator that will scale aggressively over time. It's really important minimum viable product that we put into the hands of our R&D users. They validate it, they work on innovations and publish research papers on that, and they help us this way with very specific, I would say, scientific marketing activities. And some of the Delta printing system users are then switching to more advanced solutions. And I mentioned you the first Odra system purchase order was actually from a customer who was working with Delta printing system before.
Agreement with our Estonian partner Tech Group is an important point for our business development. Subcontracting agreement for DPS printers allows us to avoid tying up production resources, so we can focus on developing new products. We can also manage working capital smarter.
Now to the ODRA system, which we previously were communicating as a DPS Plus system. That was a code name, internal code name for our development project. Now the brand that we're promoting to the first customers is ODRA, and that's the system that is a system designed for professional use, but for low-scale manufacturing, low-scale, high-mix manufacturing. These are applications where we're targeting the system. The scalability in terms of revenue generation of this standalone system is much higher than for the Delta printing system. Why? Because on one hand, its listing price is at least twice as high as DPS, and at the same time, the customers that we're working with, the initial pilot customers, from day one, they are communicating that ultimately they will need more than one system. They will need several systems installed. So we have a potential of one customer relationship that is much higher than the Delta printing system. That's why we're enthusiastic about this product as one of the revenue growth engines for us for the next years. The sale price and the first purchase order for the system that we took last quarter is in the order of 0.4 to 0.5 million US dollar. We're really happy that the first customer trusted us with this order, and it will go to a advanced packaging customer, so customer working with semiconductors in the advanced packaging domain, and they are located in Silicon Valley in California in US. Again, the strength of this product will be to deliver higher sale ticket value and multiple system sales potentially to the end customer. So scalability of business sales, and at the same time, we see an interesting interest for this product from the group of companies working around defense sector, and here especially electromagnetic shielding, high frequency communications, but also repair of advanced components that are not being manufactured in other regions, so to fully control the technology development in-house. A big part of our first purchase order for the ODRA system was due to the fact that we have a physical presence in US. We have a US office in Boston, which is a fully American company in terms of legal aspects. So XTPL Incorporated, working under the law in US, and having a team in place that is also a US citizen team that helps us with collaborating with some of the government agencies in US or with defense contractors that would be very difficult working from Europe or from Poland. So that's our way to strengthen the business development in US, and our Boston office helps not just in business relationships, but also with technology demonstration and technical support of our customers. In terms of our strengthening of our business presence in Asia, our decision is not to open a wholly owned subsidiaries yet, at least yet at this stage, but we want to partner with local strong players who can, together we can create synergies and approach the market together. So that decision has been made for Taiwan, and we're really happy to announce that we have started a partnership with Manz Asia, with the headquarters in Taiwan, close to Taipei. And our collaboration is aimed at jointly working on their customer base, our customer base on the Taiwanese market, and create solutions combining XTPL print engine and Manz capability to build industrial equipment that will be delivered to customers around semiconductor industry and microelectronic industry on the Taiwanese market. Our first stage of the collaboration was to introduce XTPL technology into Innovation Center of MANS Asia in Taiwan, Taiwan, and that's already happened. So our system is already installed there, and now we will move to the second phase of attracting the customers from our pipeline, from the pipeline of our partner, to work together on technology evaluations and technology development for the purposes of the customers in that region. We're actually planning to have additional strategic partnerships formed in the future, but we will communicate about it when the time is right. And my final slide here is on just highlighting that XTPL is still very active in building our visibility on the international markets. We're doing most of our market development activities through targeted trade shows and conferences where we are present, and we will continue to do so also this year. And you will see on the picture on the right-hand side, you see the prototype of our Odra system that for the first time we actually presented in Munich at the Productronica show in November last year.
Commercial sales increased by 12% compared to the last year and reached the highest level in our history. However, this is not the level we had expected. The pace of commercialization of UPD technology is slower than anticipated, which is why we informed you last year. Achieving the strategic goal of 100 million in revenue, taking into account the adjustment in the pace of industrial implementations and the rate of device deliveries, has been postponed and is now expected in 2028. At the same time, we are working intensively on the development of our industrial projects to strengthen sales growth, including through the contribution of new products. The most visible example of this is the Odra system. This year we have the first order for this system. Due to its high unit price, Odra may have a significant impact on our sales growth. 2025 was the year in which we optimized our structure. On the one hand, this was a response to lower than expected sales, and on the other hand, it was a natural process of streamlining the organization following a phase of rapid growth. We have built a structure that enables us to serve the industrial sector, which is highly demanding, not only in terms of expected technological solution, but also in terms of the supplier's operational efficiency. We significantly reduced a part of our operating costs. Our capital expenditures was also lower than the previous years, which is related to the completion of an intensive investment program. This year, we should also optimize inventory, which will be influenced by our collaboration with subcontractor in Estonia. Cash at the end of period was 6.6 million zloty, but it should be noted that we secured our operating activities by raising funds through a share issuance and signing an agreement for R&D funding. The chart presenting our cash flows also illustrates our operational priorities. In the short and medium term, the sales target of 100 million zloty remains our strategic goal, but operational stability is also important to us. We aim to achieve this by 2027, meaning reaching the break-even point at the operational level. It should be an effect on one hand strict cost discipline, and on the other intensive work on sales development. Today we have secured our financial position to be able to convert our efforts into sales. Despite raising funds through the share offering and grants, we remain active in other areas of financing. We expect decision regarding debt financing to be made between third and fourth quarter. We are also in talks with a potential new investor. We still intend to remain active in securing grants, provided that grant program align well with our growth strategy. We confirm strategic goal for 2028. It is ambitious and challenging, but achievable. Today we have a greater certainty incorporate ODRA system into our sales structure and work on further solution within the UPD technology framework. On this slide, you can see the growth prospects for our business lines within the strategic horizon.
So to sum up or summarize this part of the presentation, we want to focus your attention on the key facts which are around the first industrial implementation success. This is this heavy lifting process of bringing technology from lab to fab to any type of first industrial implementation is really difficult, is really hard, and it's really challenging, and there's a lot of risks on the table, but we made that first step, and it will be important not just to help generate revenue from this particular project, but to help us accelerate and access to other projects. What we're working on ultimately is to become part of the supply chains with our technology of some of the world leading players in terms of advanced electronics in the flat panel display industry, in the semiconductor industry, but also in the other consumer electronics projects. We are bringing a new growth engine to the table, which is the ODRA system, which is a new development, was not part of our original strategy that was initially announced. For the first time, we announced the purchase order from an interesting customer in Silicon Valley, and we're focused on delivering the first system to this customer by the end of this year. And at the same time, we're discussing with other potential customers that are close in relationship with us and close in evaluation of our technology as potential customers for ODRA. The window of opportunity for XTPL precision printing technology is now opening. It's maybe not opening very fast and very widely right away, but tick after tick, month after month, quarter by quarter, we see that the customers we're talking to, who at some earlier were talking to us that, hey, your technology is exciting, but I don't see a need for the precision like yours yet. Now they are starting to come back to us and saying, I will need this precision. And some of them say, maybe I already need it for my next generation product. So this transition on the market due to the forcing miniaturization is happening. We see some of the impact of AI pressure, making bigger chips, more complicated electronic chips around them, but is also supporting the growing window of opportunity for us. But at the same time, we have to be realistic that the window is not yet fully open. We're not yet attacking a fully established market. A lot of our efforts are about creating and growing the market for the technology like ours. We're well positioned to capture the growth. We're now a technology company that transformed from initial technology incubation, bringing this technology under the roofs of many innovators globally. And now we have a fully achieved success in terms of the first industrial implementation. And whenever you have the first industrial implementation, there is room to have a second, the fifth, and the 10th. So we're now at the early stage of scaling our business with risks, challenges, but also very good opportunities ahead of us. So with that, I want to thank you for your attention to this part of the conference, and happy to take any questions from you. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. We can continue to the Q&A session. We have already a few questions to address, so let's begin. The first one, how the Odra system fit into your current portfolio of products? Do you target existing clients or new type of customers?
Yes, our Odra product is actually a product that is not conflicting with other business lines. So we don't see a conflict of the customers having to choose between one or another of our products. Odra is for customers who are not in high volume manufacturing of electronics, but they need a professional tool, a tool that can be used for small scale production. And we know that Delta printing system is not the right choice for them for that application. They're actually coming to us, and that's how the whole project Odra was even kicked off, by the feedback from our market research, and actually feedback from some of the users of the Delta printing system, the professional users. The customers are around defense industry in US, in certain areas of Europe, and also advanced packaging manufacturers, but for very specialized production lots, not going into millions, but into more in hundreds or thousands per year, for specialized telecommunication applications where it's not for every phone, but maybe for every second antenna that will support many phones in a given region.
Thank you. The next question, could you elaborate about direct contact with end clients in Odra system versus industrial machinery supplier in UPD business line?
Okay, that's a really interesting question. So the big advantage with Odra system is that we're actually directly talking to the end customer who is going to be using this machine. So that helps, because that we have a lot more visibility, a lot more dialogue, a lot more exchange with these customers, because they are the end decision makers, end users. In terms of the UPD modules, there is a in-between layer between our module and the production line of the end customer. And the in-between layer is a equipment automation partner, the integrator partner, who is in direct contact with the end user. But it is actually a little bit more challenging in terms of information flow between us and the end customer, and the decision-making process is usually made not by our direct customer, but by the end customer. So these are different dynamics, but this is the dynamics we accept, because XTPL is a company that will not at this point deliver a full large industrial machine. That's not our key competency. That's not our unique selling proposition. That's why we choose this business model for the consumer electronics market.
Thank you. Understood. And the next question, I think the last questions for now. So please be advised, if you have some more questions, you can ask it via the chat system on your device. And the question is, how do you assess current market interest in XTPL technology? Do you still have to push your solutions, or there is already visible pull from the market and potential clients?
So this is still I would say, a mix. So we started as a 100% push in the early days of our commercialization, where we were pushing and let's call it advertising or showing even the technological capability and trying to get people to think, do I need it? After they are aware that the technology exists, after they are aware that it has certain capabilities, it then starts to open some interesting discussions. And these interesting discussions are mostly in that phase with innovators, people ready to jump on new solution, even if it's not fully ready, and start engaging with that. So that was our first years of industrialization. Now, slowly, we start to see the pool part coming in. It's not yet the dominating force, to be honest, but we start to see it as a visible force in selected areas where there is either understanding of our technology or a real problem of solving a next generation development. If there is a real problem and people don't know how to solve it, they will really look for a solution, even if it's far away from their hometown or home country, even if they need to engage with a company like us, which is still relatively young. So we see these two aspects. The aspects that are starting to create some of the pool are related to flat panel display industry becoming more and more improving the resolution. So each pixel is becoming smaller. So for each smaller pixel, a higher pressure for miniaturization is needed. That is helping us generate some of the pool, but that's not yet the total industry. These are just the first product lines of selected leading customers. The window there will be opening. Another interesting domain of the market pool is in terms of ultra high density integrated printed circuit boards and advanced packaging applications around redistribution layers. This is related to AI developments. AI revolution on the market forces larger and larger silicon chips. They are more and more expensive, and they are more and more demanding in terms of how you integrate this with so-called redistribution layers and advanced packaging solutions. And that opens some doors for quality, for yield management, and opens also doors for us in terms of defect repair around this application. So these are some of the, let's say, initial signals of the market pool. But again, I need to be very fair. It's not yet that the window of opportunity is already widely open, and we have a lot of that pool. It's becoming visible more and more over the last 2 years, if I compare it to the initial days of our commercialization. And we are happy about it. We work with these customers, but we still are working on market push in certain areas from bottom up, let's say.
Thank you for this comment. And I see that we addressed all the questions that are available on our chat window, so we can conclude our today meeting. Thank you everyone for your participation. Thank you for your questions. Please be advised and get in touch with the investor relations team. You can see direct numbers and email address to us. We can always talk. And for the last words, I will pass the microphone to the CEO, Filip Granek.
Yeah, so thank you again for your participation in our call. We warmly invite you to follow our activities also on media like LinkedIn, because we like to share some of our current developments there. And we will be also present in some of the investor events over the year. So maybe we can meet and have a face-to-face discussion. Thank you.
Thank you.